Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. You guys don't miss a trick. Really don't. As I've said so many times on this program, if 50 of you send me the same story on the same day, I don't have to give it a thought. In fact, if it's something I don't even care about, well, in this case, I definitely do. If it's something I don't give a rat's ass about, I'll still do it as a topic because so many of you care about it. I know by looking at the mail. And I really do read the mail. And I encourage you, if you've got comments about the program or ideas for the show, or you see a newspaper article or something on a website, you can just email it to me at the following address. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com. You know what our show's all about. You know the stories that relate to what we do, or the postings on Craigslist or whatever. You just send those to tom@blowmeuptom.com. And just like Steve J. in Tustin, who sent me both of these stories, easily more than 4 dozen of you all were on the same wavelength with Steve today. Steve sent them in a very neat package, the 2 stories side by side that I'm about to read you, and his own perspective on them. Let me read you the 2 stories. Now, you may have heard one of these, you may have heard both of these, and you may have heard neither one of these, but I'm going to read them both to you. Dateline, Atlanta, Georgia. This from the Associated Press. A 37-year-old woman who is 7 months pregnant by her 15-year-old groom says she prefers older men. But the teenager, by the way, that's the statutory rape victim, the teenager aggressively wooed her. Lisa Clark, who was charged with child molestation, statutory rape, and enticing a child for indecent purposes, said in television interviews that she still hopes to make a life with him and their baby. She said the morality of their relationship was open to debate, noting that in the past it was common for 13-year-old girls to be given in marriage. They're making a big deal out of a 15-year-old, she said, and I can assure you that he was no victim. It's not like they're making it out to be. Actually, I told him no several times because I prefer someone older. But he was just so nice and so sweet. The boy, who had been on probation on an unrelated burglary charge, was ordered to return to juvenile detention after relatives he was living with said they could not handle him. Well, isn't that clear? He's on probation, and he knocked up a 37-year-old woman. Clark was arrested last month after the couple's November 8th wedding. Georgia law allows children of any age to marry without parental consent if the bride-to-be is pregnant. How do you like that law? So I guess even if he was 10, this would be legal in Georgia? Is that what you're telling me? Says here the law dates back to the early 1960s and was written to discourage out-of-wedlock births. Clark denied marrying the teen to try to avoid prosecution. She said, I told the detective that I got married because I wanted the baby to have his name. Yes, the name of the paroled bank robber. Oh, no, he's a burglary. I'm sorry, not a bank robber. The paroled burglar. She says, I wanted to be married when the baby came. Clark said the baby is a boy and would have the middle name of her new husband, who has not been identified by authorities because of his age. How much time do you think she's going to get? Yeah. She'll get the Mary Kay Letourneau sentence. Now, many of you remember Mary Kay Letourneau being in prison for something in the order of 6 years. But that was after she'd already been convicted once before and was sentenced to 30 days in the loony bin, and then came out and immediately started effing the kid again, and then got pregnant by him. So, she'll probably get the Mary Kay Letourneau treatment. But many of you did not miss the irony of this story, which appeared at practically the same time, also from the Associated Press. Dateline Falls City, Nebraska. A 22-year-old man faces up to 50 years in prison after pleading guilty to sexual assault charges filed after he impregnated and then married a 14-year-old girl. By the way, does anybody believe Lisa Clark is getting 50 years or 40 years or 30 years in prison? Matthew Coso legally married the girl in Kansas after she became pregnant. The girl, 14-year-old Crystal Coso, gave birth August 24th to a girl named, ever heard this name before, Samara. Sentencing is set for February 7th. The case generated international media attention when Nebraska Attorney General John Bruning filed first-degree sexual assault charges against Coso in July. Coso's trial was scheduled to begin Thursday. Bruning said that Coso was a friend of the girl's half-brother and began a relationship with her when she was 12. Nebraska requires people to be at least 17 before they can marry. State law also prohibits people 19 or older from having sex with those under the age of 16. After the girl became pregnant, her mother gave permission to Coso to take her daughter across the state line to Hiawatha, Kansas. There is no minimum age for marriage in Kansas, but state law requires anyone under 18 wanting to marry to have permission of both parents or a guardian. And if there's no parent or guardian, permission from a judge is required. Coso's lawyer, Willis Yosel, has said that the girl's mother and Coso's parents approved of the marriage. The girl's father has not lived with the family for some time. Kansas Governor Kathleen Sebelius recently said she was asking legislators to establish a strict ban on marriage involving anyone younger than 16. The governor said the legislation also should retain the requirement for parental or judicial consent for those aged 16 or 17. Now, we do not know how much time Lisa Clark is going to get or even if she'll ever be convicted of anything. Case like this, you know what usually happens. There's a plea bargain. And ultimately, she'll be in therapy or she'll pick up tin cans off the side of a freeway, and then that'll be it. She'll be there with her 15-year-old husband and their baby. Meantime, the 22-year-old is who married the 14-year-old girl after he knocked her up. He'll face up to 50 years in prison. Does anybody see a double standard here?
Tom Leykis. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
I hate you, and that is why I have to listen to you, because you are right most of the time.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hi to Victor on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom.
Victor.
You are the man.
Thank you.
Yes, down here in San Diego, so glad to hear you.
Thank you.
Love listening to your show. I get the fortune of getting off work and listening to you on my commute home.
You're a lucky man.
Yes, I am. Too bad you weren't around about 15 years ago, though.
Well, I was, but you couldn't hear me 15 years ago because I was on a local station in L.A.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to down here yet.
No, it took a long time for the company to decide my show was good enough for you to hear it.
Ah. And those who think or decide you're good enough are who?
I don't know. Some group of guys. They're all back east somewhere.
Yeah, with the thumb up there, yeah. Okay.
Well, all the guys who thought I wasn't good enough, they're all gone now.
Ah.
Yeah, that's why we're on now.
Ah.
Because they had to get rid of the old dead wood.
So they took their thumb out and put it somewhere else.
Well, now there's new guys who think maybe I got something here.
Ah. Well, tell them thank you when you see them or hear them.
I will.
Hey, about the controversy, there needs to be some serious consistency, or they need to start rethinking this stuff. Well, we're talking a 17-year difference between the boy and the lady, right? And
Right.
an 8-year difference between the 14-year-old girl and the 22-year-old guy, right?
Yes.
But the person with the 8-year difference is facing 50
By the way,
years?
it's 22 years between the woman and the boy.
22.
Yeah, she's 37 and he's 15.
Yeah, and she'll probably get a slap on the wrist. Now, isn't there also
probably like it, too.
laws, federal laws, that are set up if you cross state lines to avoid prosecution? Isn't there federal laws that then you get whatever, you know?
Well, the crossing state lines happened in the story about the 22-year-old and his 14-year-old bride.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is those come in play, too. He's going to get even
Yeah,
more.
but wait, according to the story from AP, it's legal as long as all the parents signed off on it.
But
And according to the story, they all did.
They went to a different state, though, in order to do that, right?
No, but here's the deal. Getting married is legal.
Yeah.
Child molestation is not.
No.
So even if he got married, getting married would not help him avoid prosecution.
No.
Because until he was married, he was breaking the law.
Oh, absolutely. And there's proof of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also have proof that the other person broke the law because she's pregnant with his baby. The law was broken. And crossing state lines is not the issue.
Sam, I'm wondering, though, also, in these situations, some of these people, I mean, not necessarily they're doing it for this, but perhaps they're trying to set a precedent somewhere along the line. I mean, somebody's got to be the scapegoat. Maybe this guy needs to stand up and really, really fight it, you know? He needs to do something. Or, you know what?
Well, by the way, I don't think he's going to fight it because I think this is a plea bargain. This is a plea bargain. I mean, it says here he was up for even more. He was up for even more.
Yeah.
Originally, he was charged with first-degree sexual assault.
Yeah, that's not pretty.
And so I guess it's a plea bargain.
Yeah.
Where he will, plead guilty to, I don't know, second or third-degree sexual assault.
Man, that's just too bad.
No,
I mean, I'm a parent, and I understand it from both vantage points. There is definitely a double standard.
I just don't see it that girls are victims of the big bad predators and boys are studs. I don't get that. If this is damaging to children, it's damaging to boys and girls.
No, absolutely. But if you're talking about a 37-year-old man and a 14-year-old girl, that's a much bigger difference than, say,
Well, the other issue you run into is that it's two different states. And I'm just trying to be fair about this. You could argue that.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't matter. If these things happen in the same state, we know that the woman will get a slap on the wrist and the man will not see the light of day for decades.
Yeah. Well, what I understand statutory rape is having sex with a girl underage, regardless of how old the man is.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if, a 17-year-old boy having sex with a 17-year-old girl is still statutory rape here in California.
Well, it depends on the state. There are states where
Here in California,
if you are no more than 2 years or 3 years older than the girl, then it's not statutory rape.
Well, a lot of times here, too, I have neighbors that are police, and they say they basically...
I mean, I can tell you in Orange County, north of where you are, Victor, in Orange County, there were stories about this. It was documented that the authorities in Orange County, rather than prosecuting adults who were these were in the Mexican-American communities of Orange County, rather than prosecuting adults who were having sex with 14-year-old girls and impregnating them, the county was trying to encourage them to get married to save on welfare costs. That's how concerned Orange County was about whether children were being harmed by this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I started out saying, you know what? A lot of laws really need to be rethought.
No doubt about that, Victor. No doubt about that. This is Larry on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I'm calling from San Diego, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Just been listening to you for a couple months since you guys come on. And, I'm talking about the same as Victor there, It's kind of BS that these states can just make up their own, basically have their own statute or have their own laws on governing this type of crime. Because it looks like she's going to get off with a hand slap, and he's going to get 50 years.
Yeah, or you know what? He won't get 50 years, but I'll bet he'll get 10 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I think personally, I think that this should all be federally handled. There should be a federal law that basically overrides whatever state you're in, whatever your state law is. It should all be federal.
Well, I certainly don't understand why what makes you a pervert in California makes you a stud in Hawaii, for example. I don't get it.
Oh, yeah.
I can have sex with a 16-year-old girl, and at one time it went down to 14, maybe even 12. And It was perfectly legal. And there are still states where the age of consent is 14 or 16. I know Texas is 17.
And this guy now, he's 22 years old. He's going to have his young face on this pedophile list, that anybody with the internet can access and see this guy's face. He's he's basically a child molester. I just want to know how many pictures of females child molesters out there on these websites,
I would certainly love to know the answer to that question. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Johnny on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, how are you?
Great.
Let me tell you something. This conversation is a conversation amongst my friends all the time. It pisses us off. Okay? What a double standard exists. It's like, okay, basically, if it's on trial, the guy gets basically guilty just for being a guy, and a woman they're so lenient with. Right. It's upsetting to me all the time, every time I hear this, because it's such a double standard, and it's there out in the open. And
that's because there is a perception, somehow, which is wrong-headed, that 14-year-old girls who have sex with adults are victims, and 14-year-old boys who have sex with adults are studs.
Let me tell you something. The people who make these laws, and I hope they're listening to me right now, I hope they drop dead.
The people who made these laws have been dead for 100 years. That's part of the problem, too.
Yeah, it's like reconstruct it now, It's like,
I mean, let's face facts. 14-year-olds are like 21-year-olds 20 years ago.
Exactly. And you know what? The law is 17 in New York, because I've researched this thoroughly when I'm back in New York. And because, it was a conversation where people saying to me, no, it's 18. I said, no, it's 17. No, it's 18. No, it's 17. Just out of that fact, I mean, it should be one age in all of the country that is a reasonable age. And, they got to realize these 17-year-old girls, thanks to, Britney Spears, are little hotties these days, And it's the whole thing, too. If you meet a girl in a bar, and she's 17, 16, but she has a fake ID that got her into the bar, it doesn't matter. You're guilty because you should have proofed her. That's what the law says. You should ask her age before you associate with her.
Right, but if somebody showed you a fake California driver's license, would you know it?
Yeah, but who's going to... I'm not going to ask a girl, can I see your ID before I talk to you? It's like absurd. The people shouldn't be held responsible. If they're in a bar, by law, you're supposed to be 18 or 21 to be in a bar. So therefore, I'm just going to assume that a girl's 18, But no.
Actually, you're supposed to be 21.
Exactly. It's just like if, and I'm not comparing it a little bit, but if a girl says a guy molested her or raped her, the guy is right away arrested, put in jail, and then, held on trial or whatever. If a guy says it, the authorities laugh at the guy. It's like, why is this guy saying this girl harassed him? Well, it shouldn't be a double. It's like a double standard exists, and it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic that these things exist.
No doubt about it, Johnny. Thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Adrian on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Okay.
I think this guy needs to get a better lawyer, dude. I was 18 years old. I got my 14-year-old, who is not my wife, I got her pregnant. And within 6 months after my daughter was born, I was arrested. And I spent 7 days in jail, and it was like $3,000 for a lawyer. And they released me with a misdemeanor disturbing the peace.
Are you serious? This happened in L.A. or Orange County?
And it happened in San Bernardino County.
San Bernardino County. Now, I don't know about San Bernardino County, but there was that story about Orange County. They were encouraging these people to get married.
Yeah, actually, the judge. When I went to court, they released me under my own recognizance or whatever, and we went to Vegas the day after I was released, got married, drove back, and then when my next court date was up, I appeared, showed them my marriage certificate, and they let me go.
Amazing.
Yep.
Adrian, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Do you see a double standard here?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Why not just adopt?
Because we have the ability to have children.
Oh, so what? I have the ability to take a crap on your head. Does that mean I should come over and do it?
I would like it. Maybe you should try.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. Gary, hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Long time, first time.
Thank you.
I was listening to you talking about the double standard, and it seems to me like, I agree with everything you say usually, especially the part about guys being, when you tell these chicks that guys basically just want to get laid all the time, and they better, face the facts here. But it seems like on this issue, you're taking a reverse point on that, because guys 14 years old want to get laid too.
Yeah, but how do we know that girls 14 years old don't want to get laid?
Well, they act like they don't. Chicks.
Well, there are laws against forcible rape.
Right.
Nobody complained that they were forcibly raped in the case where the 14-year-old girl got pregnant.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think they should be, they should lighten up on both of them. But
hey, and by the way, you're wrong to assume that a 14-year-old boy wants to have sex, but a 14-year-old girl doesn't. Have you seen what 14-year-old girls look like these days?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got a point there, but I just think, when I was 14, if I'd have banged my 30-year-old teacher, I'd have been the stud of the walk, and
But you still might be a victim. I mean, have we seen what happened to that kid who nailed Mary Kay Letourneau?
That's
been
true.
Unemployed. He's been in trouble with the law. He's already got, 2 kids?
Well, yeah, but he was a dummy. I mean,
Wait. How do you know he wasn't hurt by the experience?
Well, that's true. Except I just am going...
Why would we assume that a girl would be hurt by this experience, but a boy wouldn't?
Don't know the answer to that one, but I just...
The answer is stereotyping.
That's true. That's true. But it just seems to me like, my fantasy was, that my 17-year-old babysitter was going to teach me how to have sex.
Gary, let me tell you something. When I was 10, I wanted to drive the family car. That was my fantasy.
Right.
If my father gave me the key and I drove the car,
yeah,
because it was my fantasy, would I be a stud?
No, you'd be a menace to the public, probably.
Right. And I would probably be a menace to myself as well. I would be hurt by it, even though it would be my dream.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I wanted to drive a fire truck. That was my dream.
Yeah, okay.
So what if it's your dream? The fact that it's your dream doesn't mean it's good for you.
That's true. That's true. But I just can't help thinking that, I see some of these hot little 30-year-old chicks that are banging these young kids, and I think, man, I'd like to get a piece of that myself,
Now you've got competition from the 14-year-old.
I know. Well, that's a good reason to keep them from banging the 14-year-olds. That's true.
That reason alone, for God's sake. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Wayne on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom? It's Wayne, first-time caller, long-time listener. I just wanted to comment on this statement made by the gentleman earlier about law enforcement, how we kind of look the other way.
Which, by the way, I don't agree with. You know who looks the other way? Prosecutors look the other way. District attorneys look the other way. But police officers don't look the other way.
Oh, we don't look. I'm a police officer myself in Los Angeles, and you know, whenever I have the chance and the facts are there, and you know, somebody's telling me that their lady hit them or attacked them, trust me, I love hooking them up and slamming the door on them and watching them cry, because there's plenty of these women out there that make false complaints.
You are the man. You are the man.
There you go, Tom.
Love that.
And you know, as far as, you know, and like you said earlier, in the Mexican American, you know, over in Orange County, and in that, it's okay. You know, when you talk to a house and their 14-year-old daughter, the moms are okay with it. You know, we have to take a report on it, but they're not mad, they're not angry. It's just a part of life, so it's kind of it's a whole different ballgame there.
No doubt about it.
So, all right, Tom, can you blow up?
I'll blow you up, Wayne. Here you go. One 800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's let's say Jason on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. I've never called your show before, but I just want to kind of weigh in. You know, I don't necessarily agree with the law, and I don't think it's right. And do things need to be changed? Yes, but until they are, that is the law. And if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. I think it's as simple as that.
Well, yeah, but it's not. Here's why it's not as simple as that. Because we have a law, but it is not applied fairly and equally to everybody. For example, the death penalty. All this talk about Tukey Williams and the death penalty and all that.
Right.
You know what? I'd have a lot less problems with the death penalty if everybody who committed murder got the death penalty. How many times do you see women on death row?
Well, I probably a lot less than men, but there's a lot less women committing murders than there are men.
I will tell you what. You know what? You're right about that. In fact, about 6 times as many murders are committed by men as women, which means every 7th person on death row should be a woman. Would you say that every 7th person going to the chair, going to lethal injection, or going to the gas chamber is a woman?
No, I would say...
Damn straight. In fact, there were 2 women since 1976 in the United States who've been executed. Do you believe they're the only 2 women who ever killed anybody?
No.
Damn straight. Remember Susan Smith?
Yeah,
The woman in Union, South Carolina, who strapped her 2 kids into the back seat of a maroon Mazda Protege and rolled it into the lake, and her kids went blub, 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 and they were dead. And then she tried to accuse an imaginary black carjacker for taking her kids. My babies are missing, my babies, I miss my babies. It turns out that she had put her babies at the bottom of the lake where they drowned.
Yeah.
Strapped into the back seat of the car. Is Susan Smith dead?
No, she's not, is she?
Damn straight. She got knocked up by a prison guard in prison.
Wow.
Yeah, she's alive. Here she was facing, you know, that usual lynch mob down south where they say, hey, you know, law and order, we need law and order in this country. We need law and order. And there she was. A woman drowned her own children, and they couldn't give her the death penalty.
I mean, I honestly, there's probably a lot of laws on the books that aren't fair to everyone. Just like you could say the same thing about, like, college entrance exams. You know, a lot of black people say, well, they're not fair. They're not fair to the way society is now. They're geared toward white people. They were written 50 years ago. There's a lot of things that aren't fair, but until those laws are changed, until things change, we kind of have to do what the law says. I think smoking pot and marijuana is not a bad thing. That's fine for some people. But you know what? It's illegal. And if you get busted with too much of it, you're in trouble.
Well, you know, I would not have any problem with these laws if they were applied fairly and evenly. But they are applied in such a way that implies that a 14-year-old boy who has sex with an adult is a stud, and a 14-year-old girl who has sex with an adult is a victim. We have to get over that, for God's sake. We really do. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Danny on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. It's nice to finally get on the show.
I know.
Well, you know what? I think that I have a lot to agree with the previous caller about, you know, I just think it's generally wrong for an 18-year-old man or older to have sex with a 14-year-old girl.
Why does gender come into it?
Well, because you talk a lot about generalities on your show, and I think in general, men are more dominant than women, and it always seems that in these cases, the men.
All you need is, by the way, you can solve that problem pretty easily. All you need is a phone call saying, my daughter's been raped against her will. Because there are laws against that.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Many forceful, rapes that would be considered, like.
But if the girl did not complain, if the girl is seeing the guy and calling him her boyfriend, why would you assume she's a victim?
I think it's not that the girl is calling the guy her boyfriend. That makes her.
If she has not complained about being forcibly raped, why is it more of a crime when a girl has sex with an adult than a boy?
Well, I don't think it's more of a crime.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're saying that men are more aggressive and men are this and men are that. Great. Why don't these people file complaints?
All right, well, what I was saying before, Tom, was that men will... I'm sorry, Tom. My battery's dying. Can you just...
I think your argument is dying. I'm going to blow you up. Here you go.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Does your question have anything to do with what I'm discussing on the air this hour?
No.
That means that's the end of the call.
My question...
You bitch.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hi to Chuck on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
First time, long time.
Thank you.
How come the women aren't calling in?
Good question.
Why aren't they? When it's against them, they don't call in. But when it's something that you're talking about them, then they want to know what's your problem.
Isn't it interesting how women don't care at all about equality when it's a story like this?
Exactly. Tom, take me out African tribal style.
Here you go, Chuck. Peter on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Tom.
Peter.
How you doing?
Great.
And I do care.
Good.
Listen, I just couldn't help but comment about your remarks regarding how the criminal justice system they treat them, males different than females, and you're absolutely right about that, Tom. But the only comment I'd make as a lawyer that's been a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, that it really isn't, the prosecutors or the judges or law enforcement. It's really society. I mean, when you have a girl, let's say, who's 15 or 16 who has sex with an adult, she's shamed by it, even if it isn't really rape, and she screams rape, and everybody jumps all over it. When a guy who's 14 or 15 who has sex with an adult, they don't cry rape. They go to their buddies and brag about it, and a lot of the times those type of crimes don't get reported because for the guys it's a badge of honor. For the girls, it's shame and embarrassment.
Well, many of these girls never complain at all. In fact, in many cases, the parents don't even complain. In some cases, a neighbor complains. In some cases, a teacher complains. But it's not always the girl complaining.
Well, you'll find what my experience has been is it's either the girl because her parents finds out and so therefore she claims rape, or the parents find out and they automatically, want justice. But there's a lot of consensual sex going on with girls post-pubescent girls, in other words, girls that are having their period and are sexually active within their age group,
a lot of them want it, for God's sake.
The Tom Leykis Show.